Welcome to the news. Let's get into our first story now. Finance Minister Dr. Cecilia Dapaah has formally announced the abolition of a raft of taxes, including the controversial electronic transactions e-levy, betting tax, and emissions levy. Dr. Cecilia Dapaah insists no new taxes will be introduced in place of these taxes, but a rationalization of the existing tax refund system will plug the holes the cancellation of taxes will bring about. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante reports on those issues.
The much-anticipated first budget of John Dramani Mahama has been presented to Parliament. The Finance Minister, Dr. Cecilia Dapaah, had the authority of the President to deliver the first budget of his second term following that decisive victory in 2024. Dr. Cecilia Dapaah started by painting a picture of the economy that the NDC inherited from the NPP.
Mr. Speaker, hands on heart, we inherited an economy in deep crisis. Mr. Speaker, an economy hard hit with debt and beset by other fiscal challenges, such as large accumulation of MDRS, energy sector, shortfalls, and financial sector payments.
He went on to provide some updates in terms of what exactly the government is doing to turn things around.
Rationalizing government expenditure and eliminating wasteful expenditures. Optimizing domestic revenue mobilization through broadening of tax base, increased non-tax revenue collection, adopting enhanced tax compliance measures, and modernizing the tax administration through digital technology. Mr. Speaker, we will also increase the share of domestic expenditure to spur economic growth and job creation.
Then came the big news. Dr. Cecilia Dapaah has abolished a number of taxes, including the controversial e-levy and the betting tax.
Mr. Speaker, we will abolish the 10% withholding tax on betting. We will abolish the electronic transfer levy, e-levy of 1%. We will abolish the emission levy, otherwise as in Wusie tax. We will abolish the VAT on motor vehicle insurance policy. Mr. Speaker, we will abolish the 1.5% withholding tax on unprocessed gold by small-scale miners. Mr. Speaker, the removal of these taxes will ease the burden on households.
Dr. Cecilia Dapaah says the government has what it takes to plug the hole that will be created by the abolishment of these taxes.
Government will work with the stakeholders, including the private sector, to roll out a technology-driven solution to reintroduce road tolls this year as part of the big push. Right, Honorable Speaker, we will also strengthen the legal and regulatory regime for non-tax revenue and enforce the framework to improve service delivery. This will be achieved through the introduction of an overarching non-tax revenue legislation, amendment of existing relevant laws, and the development of a national non-tax revenue strategy and policy. The Speaker, as part of the reforms to improve other non-tax revenue streams, government will explore the operationalization of a regulatory framework for collection, management, and reporting of property rates consistent with our medium-term revenue strategy, 2024 to 2027.
Dr. Cecilia Dapaah proceeds to announce a number of interventions and funding in the 2025 budget.
We will provide a cedi equivalent of $279 million as a revolving fund for the Ghana Gold Board to be able to purchase and export at least 3 tons of gold per week from small-scale miners. An amount of 499.8 million Ghana cedis has been allocated for the non-academic fee policy for all first-year students in public sector institutions under the No Fee Stress initiative. We have allocated an amount of 292.4 million Ghana cedis to commence the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. The overarching concern about free secondary education has been its quality and the absence of dedicated sources of financing. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has resolved it. Mr. Speaker, let me take this again. The overarching concern about free secondary education has been its quality and the absence of a dedicated sources of funding. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has resolved the funding challenges by uncapping the GET fund.
In the coming days, Parliament will consider the estimates of the various ministries, departments, and agencies. The various committees of Parliament will handle all those estimates and present report to the House. It will be done side by side a debate or commenting on the Finance Minister's budget presentation, which will ultimately culminate in the passage of the Appropriation Act that will lead to the total passage of the 2025 budget. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Meanwhile, Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin described the budget as an Azan budget.
Mr. Speaker, this afternoon we have been presented with part 2 of the Lamentation series. The part 1, Mr. Speaker, the part 1 was Mahamanomics. The part 2 is Forcenomics. And it's very clear, Mr. Speaker, that under the economy that they complain about, the growth was 5.7%. And under the research economy, the growth is rather going down.
But his colleague, the Majority Leader, Mahama Ayariga, fired back. He insisted yesterday's presentation was filled with hope and that it would inspire the growth of Ghana's economy and lift the poor out of poverty.
Mr. Speaker, this clearly is a budget of a government and a party that keeps its promises. Almost every promise that was made by John Dramani Mahama is being fulfilled in less than 120 days. This budget is a budget for Makola women. This budget is a budget for assemblymen. This budget is a budget for girls. Because the second part is for the female students. That's why I said girls. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget for school children. They will now get the set of textbooks that they need to study. And peace of mind. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget that delivers solid reforms. And this is a budget that is moving our growth from Galamsey growth to real growth.
Well, some Ghanaians out there have also been reacting to the budget, particularly the scrapping of taxes.
Actually, we have a second independent Ghana for so many years. Assembly members omunya pay, but budget we who say assembly members after assembly members betting tax e-levy COVID tax in Yamana ya yini nyina afio afina Ghana ye ba be di ye o Ghana say 24-hour economy na mama dia ba no me sure say ebeboa youth for nyina mama wa ya dia pa Yankopon shira no.
The e-levy they have removed. For that, I'm 100% with them that they have removed the e-levy. The taxes on our importing goods, that's the duties and the tax actually. I've not heard anything serious about that. And that one is helping the nation a lot, because if that tax still remains the same, we will push the final cost that we will bear to the final consumer, and the final consumers too will suffer more than us.
Me ade abako we ye free we me dey sa COVID tax no. Sa COVID tax no dey we ye free o dey. Ene sa e-levy no. By betting tax no dey. At least na so ni ko te so.
Eh, ebe mu na wo be ku.
Madam. Oh, unim scan microphone ya wo bet mu.
Now, despite advice from economists against scrapping the betting tax, the government has gone ahead with its removal. Now, while some young people celebrate the decision as a relief, others worry about potential future taxes or regulations that could replace it.
Actually, we have.
Oh, it's a good news for Ghanaians, simply because all young men have been betting, even the older people have been betting, due to the hardships we are facing at the moment. So it's a good news for it. Those 10% being removed from the tax that you win has been costing us a lot due to the hardships.
When last did you win?
Oh, I won about 2 months ago.
Was it like how much?
It's about 5,000.
Wow, so you had to pay government 10% of the 5?
Yeah. Which is costing us a lot. So this time, most people have not been betting. So once the government has announced that, the present NDC government has announced that he has removed the tax, it's a good news to young men.
We want to say because first, it traveled no one here. Intina impo kakrebenyano. It me in a paper. I see as a question being put as a baby free sport to only 10% free me to it me for baby uncle a bet accounts woman to me in cabindi. It is a bet no. It me can say first no. And it is my free.
So he's very excited. He says that previously, because of the betting tax, they end up spending very little money on stakes because government would then have to take out 10%. But now they're very excited that government have announced they are scrapping the betting tax.
In our next story, a 24-year-old mobile money vendor known as Junior has been found murdered in his apartment at Kwadaso in the Ashanti region. His assailants, who remain unknown, allegedly fled with an undisclosed sum of money. The victim, who operated at the Kwadaso Onion Market, was discovered in a pool of blood. Clinton Yaboah reports.
Eyewitnesses claim the deceased returned home Saturday night with a substantial amount of money which they suspect might have exposed him to the attack. His door was locked from outside and I thought he had gone to work. But later I realized a screeching scent which was suspicious. So I got close and realized his fan was also on. So I filed the case with the police, came around to find they have slit his throat. The police has launched an investigation into the matter, but no arrest has been made. Last month, a 27-year-old Momo vendor, Patricia Nimako, was also shot dead at Krofrom in Kumasi. The suspected armed robbers bolted with an amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis and mobile phones. The process of police investigations to apprehend the suspects remain unknown. For residents of Kwadaso, security beef up in the community will help ease their state of fear. We live in fear. The police should intensify their patrols around here and protect us.
aban ni police wa eja mo boy ho ban ke yesro mo a mo boy ho ban wo mantem ha ni ko dum ka ni ko dum be ya 3 o'clock ni ko kwa na me yemu hihye me.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Now, the former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Dapaah, has told an Accra High Court that her domestic workers stole a total of $410,000, 300,000 euros, and 350,000 cedis from her storage room over time. She also reported the theft of $53,000 worth of jewelry and other valuables she had kept for over 3 decades. The former minister was testifying for the first time in court. Latif Idrisu has more.
Husband of the former minister in May last year told the same court that he and his wife started storing money in their storage room some 20 years ago. The former minister, who was testifying in court for the first time, said police investigators had told her that her stolen monies had been distributed to different persons at different locations. First of all, she told the court that when the first incident happened, she reported it to the police. At the time she lodged that complaint at the police station, she was still serving as minister in charge of sanitation. And subsequently, the theft continued, and then she yet again reported the matter to the police again. It was on the second report, if you like, that escalated the matter, which is now here at the court. Madam Cecilia Dapaah told the court that the accused persons stole 12 of my neck chains valued at $24,000 US. Again, the accused persons, according to Madam Cecilia Dapaah, stole my gold bangles valued at $14,000. Again, Madam Cecilia Dapaah told the court that the accused persons, quote, stole my gold earrings valued at 15,000 United States dollars. The accused persons, according to Madam Cecilia Dapaah, stole 300,000 euros of her hard-earned cash, 300,000 euros. Madam Dapaah also told the court that they stole 200,000 United States dollars from her. In a separate incident, they stole 210,000 United States dollars. And then there was also the Ghana cedis. That was 300,000 Ghana cedis and then 50,000 Ghana cedis. These are the valuables that Madam Cecilia Dapaah has told the court today that these suspects stole from their home at here in Accra, from the High Court complex. This is Latif Idris reporting for Joy News.
Now, the Central Regional Minister, Ekopinion Eduamwa Archery, has paid a visit to the Central Regional Police Headquarters to interact with the officers. During his visit, the Regional Minister advised the officers to be firm and transparent in their responsibilities and not allow their positions to be undermined by politicians. Abigail Nkrumah Essel has more in this report.
The Central Regional Police Commander, DCOP Kofi Edu, during the minister's visit, provided an overview of the strength and commitment of the regional police force.
Our overall strength stands at 1,317. Honorable Minister, as I always maintain, Central Region is always peaceful and will continue to be peaceful because the region is blessed with committed officers at all levels, ensuring effective day-to-day police activities in their respective jurisdictions. Our major challenge in the region is rivalry chieftaincy disputes among the chiefs, especially when they are about celebrating their annual festivals. The command over the years has helped resolve some of the disputes anytime they are brought to our notice. And with you as chairman of the Regional Security Council, I advise you talk to the Traditional Council and also the Regional House of Chiefs to fast track in resolving chieftaincy disputes pending before them early enough before their annual festivals begin this year to enable us have peaceful celebrations across the region. My humble request.
Speaking to the officers, the Central Regional Minister, Ekopin Nedriamwa Ochre, advised the officers to not allow their position be undermined, as well as ensure their rights in all their dealings.
Politicians have come. They are gone. I'm here today. My time will come. But many of you have been in this business for more than 2 decades, 20, 30 years ago. And so you not sit there for a small politician to come and move you up and down. Stand on your ground. Be on your feet. Tell us the right thing to do. Tell us. Look into our face and tell us that, look, Honorable Minister, what you are saying is not correct. I cannot be part of it. And that is the only way, because you are here to check us. For me to get the work done, I should also remain as neutral as possible and be truthful. So while I expect a lot from you, I also think that you also expect a lot from me. Let's do this work together.
The regional minister also addressed accommodation challenges facing the police force in the region, pledging his commitment to finish uncompleted projects.
But for the issue of accommodation, I think that it's important we do something about it. At that time, I was coming from Sopo, I see a lot of structures. Even around here, there are a lot of uncompleted structures. I am in consultation to kind of halt initiating new projects and concentrate on existing ones so that we can finish them in time.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Lesalunkome's report for Joy News.
Now, the Parent Teachers Association of the Kwando Senior High School has handed over 4 projects contributing to the infrastructure development of the school. The projects, which include a classroom block and a 2-unit staff bungalow, among others, were initiated to enhance the academic activities and performance of the students. There's more in this report.
The Kwando Senior High School, established about 70 years ago, has been struggling to meet accommodation needs of the school community. To help lessen the plight, the Parent Teacher Association initiated some projects with funding from the dues of members. 3 units of 2-bedroom apartments were constructed to accommodate teachers. Dr. Nicholas Darko is the PTA chairperson.
So we came into office, but we're not operating. And we couldn't tell parents to pay money. I see that was not enough. We wanted to move forward, then COVID-19 came. And I see that was not enough. Government agreed that PTA should operate, but there was confusion. And so we really had it tough. But through it all, I would say today we have been able to achieve certain things you will see and be happy about. We have achieved so many things. I have a list of 20 items, and that is not all. 20 things. So later I will mention it to you, but for now we want to be very brief. We have 4 important projects we want to commission in the name of PTA. You have done it, so clap for yourself. However, it took only 60% of us to support. 40% never participated, and it's a shame.
Phase 1 of a 12-unit classroom block initiated by the association has also been completed and in use. At the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the association also established a purified water production unit to serve the school and community. Proceeds from the unit are used to finance initiatives of the association, including employing casual workers to enhance staff strength. The headmaster, Charles Evans Apreku, lauded the contributions of the PTA to the development of the school.
So, kitchen and security, they have employed 13 supporting hand that PTA pays every month. Yeah, so I want to commend our PTA, Bando Senior High School PTA, and want to urge other schools that may have challenges with the PTA to come around to learn.
The PTA has other projects in the offing to make Bando Senior High School a school of choice. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Bando.
And on that educational infrastructure note, we segue right into our business update. We start on the front of the budget as economist Professor Patrick Esuming has welcomed the policy interventions and tax cuts outlined in the 2025 budget. But, he says, time will tell of their impact on the economy. Although he lauded the government's revenue and expenditure projections for the year, he believes the economy is not out of the woods yet. Professor Esuming has been reacting to the 2025 budget presentation in Parliament yesterday.
Now, I think, obviously, also within the context of the political campaign, the president and the government has been absolutely bent on making sure that the most visible and the most important elements of their campaign were fulfilled. And that's why we've seen a rollback of all those taxes that, were said. I think, in some sense, the finance minister also communicating that there's a way to do these cuts and then make up for them was also a good thing. At least it gives confidence that perhaps these cuts are here to stay. And then we also saw the number of other government programs that are meant to boost the real sector of the economy. I think that's where the action is. We have seen this before. I mean, having a fresh start and then reading a budget, scaling back some unpopular taxes. We did this. We saw this 8 years ago. I think exactly how these programs will boost the economy and make it more sustainable I think that's the most important thing. But I think as a first budget, it's gone very well.
Now, the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abena Amwa, has emphasized the need for policy reforms to incorporate investment into the country's educational system, highlighting its importance in equipping young individuals for real-world economic participation. Helen Nakai Ai filed this report.
In commemoration of International Women's Day, the Ghana Stock Exchange brought together industry leaders, entrepreneurs, and young women to discuss gender equality, empowerment, and financial inclusion under the theme Ring the Bell for All Women and Girls' Rights, Equality, and Empowerment. Speaking at the event, the managing director at the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abena Amwa, underscored the need for compulsory inclusion of investment education in schools to facilitate easy management of finances.
We think that we need to start early, and that's why we think the biggest contribution we can make is if we make investment education part of compulsory programs at school. So working with Ministry of Education include financial education and literacy in primary schools through to tertiary, because every person, no matter what you do at the end of the day, you should be able to be educated to use the financial tools you have, to understand that if you want to start a business, it's better to register it, so that the percentage of women run businesses that are registered and have formal structures around that improves.
She further emphasized the need for this celebration within the stock exchange market in cushioning sustainability.
Another platform we've done is also a sustainability segment of the market where companies can raise social bonds, green bonds, or gender bonds, which is debt financing that is cheaper than regular financing. And companies that have interest in investing in these areas can get cheaper financing by issuing these type of bonds.
It's a wrap for the news. Joining us presently for the news review, political scientist, head of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Asante. We also have Dr. Jabir Mohammed. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. They will be with us presently.